I need to apologize to you first off before we get into this. I fucked up real bad, okay?
Lay it
you
on me.
sent me you sent me the album on the 15th.
Mhm.
I didn't record till the day you released. And I don't mean literally the day it was released. I mean I was recording, and when I was going back to get the links to the fucking videos, your album dropped at that midnight point.
Quality.
I
Quality.
sat down 5 times to record that reaction. 5 times.
Hot damn.
There are 4 different versions of that first song's reaction, by the way. That first song was not genuine reaction. I'm just gonna be it was cut between different days. I just kept putting the same shirt on.
Hey, yo. Life hack. Need to record a video,
So
but you keep fucking it up? Just wear the
I
same
finished
clothes.
pretty much. I finished the recording because the whole thing was done over 2 sessions, like the
Mhm.
full reaction. The second half of the session was done like on the day before the fucking reaction released. And then I realized how much footage I had, and I was like, "Oh no!" I legit didn't sleep. I literally finished the reaction, stayed up the rest of the night editing the reaction
Holy shit, man. More
to
power
get it
to
up in
you.
time.
I'm gonna be
Yeah,
right
it
back.
was
I'm gonna grab
nuts.
some weed, but I can still hear you.
Yeah, you're good. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. Welcome everybody. This is Desk Talk, where we sit and we talk with a guest. Our guest today is started off as a streamer, became one of my best friends in the world. He's secretly a street magician. Don't let him lie to you. Don't think I've forgotten about that shit. He's an entrepreneur, a music mogul. He is turning into at this point. He is one of my best friends. I know him as Nicholas. You all know him as Nampson. Welcome to the podcast, Mr.
What up,
Nampman.
gang? How you living?
I've been living. That was my first question. You, how you been? Like really?
Man, I've been up, I've been down, but I've been doing really well. I've been finally getting myself into the right headspaces and doing the right things, so I can't complain. How about you?
Yeah, I've been same. The last like 2 years were rough, to say the least. I was at a point where like if there weren't a few key things in my life, I wouldn't be here.
I bro,
There's like my girlfriend has kept me going and has kept me on this earth for the last 5 years, really. We're going on 6 now, but like
him,
really
the
that's been
fucking
what it is.
dogs,
And
man.
also, yeah, same. My fucking little animal over there, the amount of times I've cried into that cat.
Bro,
Like,
preach,
straight up,
man.
it's been rough. I've been close to there's been a lot of things that I need to talk about but haven't yet, that have happened just in the last year, that I'm just like, I don't even know how to process them. So I haven't
Time.
even begun to try to do that.
Time, bro. That's all it is. Time.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, it's a lot, and it's not fun. It is really affected by mental space. Anyone who's been a fan of me for a long time knows, usually I'm inaccurate with what my postings of things. Last year I was just gone. I would just show up every month or so to stream.
Bro, that was me to the T. Like every month is being generous. I think in 2023 I made I put one song out in 2023 and I think I streamed
Okay, Nick,
maybe
I've put 2 songs out in the last 5 years, so
okay, but like I'm pursuing this actively, like trying to
I
do
know,
this
I'm kidding,
daily.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
That would be like okay, if I would put
You
one
know I
song
would
out a
never
month.
compare myself to you as I stand right now with music. This is It's so funny. Yeah, it's been I think it's been rough for a lot of people
Bro, yeah, the state of the world,
with life. It
honestly.
seems like I don't like everybody I've talked to, even just in our friend group, people who I've noticed too since you've come back, a lot of people have like from back in the day have started just like, hey, remember me from the stream or remember me? And just like stopping in and stuff. And it's like, that's cool. It's cool to see a lot of people doing good. But
Yeah.
it's all, but it seems like everybody who I've talked to has been like, it's just been rough.
It has been, man. I think a lot of it is to do with like the increasing declining state of just the world as a whole. And like
Mhm.
that there's no sense of like community and love for one another anymore. Like just general
No,
like person to person love. It's
it's
all about
hatred.
yeah,
Well, it's because we were all basically forced into being alone for
yeah,
a year
yeah.
or more. And then when we came out of it, we all realized we're all fucking terrible people. We
Hmm.
just hate each other. Your lighter's dope.
Thank you. It's a
I
jacket.
was gonna reach through this camera and smack you if it was white, by the way, because you're
Ah,
27 still.
I've never
You
owned
know
a
what I'm
white
talking about,
I was
right?
gonna say I've never owned a white lighter or a yellow lighter in my life, and I never
My
will.
favorite my favorite lighter that I used to carry when I would smoke every day is a white lighter.
My man's out here trying to die.
I like cheating. I've cheated death plenty of times. I like spitting in his face. It's fun.
Nah, I'll be here when it comes to
One
take
of my
me.
questions for you, and I'll ask it now that you just lit up. Do you have a favorite strain?
Chimera.
And what is it? Really?
Yes. It's one I
Nice.
only just recently found this past year. Craziest looking strain I've ever seen. Fucking
I'll have
I'll
to
send
try
you
it.
some pictures of it. It's a wild looking strain.
Yeah,
Um
definitely. Yeah, we'll have to try it.
and it's a man, it's the perfect high. Like so it is the epitome of a 50-50 hybrid. Like none of this
Mhm,
bullshit. Oh, it's a hybrid when in reality it's like 80% sativa or 80% indica. It is
mhm,
a
which is
50-50 hybrid.
90% of the
It
market.
literally. Well, yeah, everything is so fucking hybridized these days, but um fucking this particular strain is the only strain I've ever had where I feel like I get to choose which part of the high I want. Like I can smoke it and then I can
Ooh,
sit
that's
down and
nice.
just vegetate, or I can smoke it and I'd be
Uh-huh.
like, I'm gonna go get shit done, and I get to pick which one I want to do.
See,
Like,
that's nice. It sucks to for me too, because I only get to smoke like once in a while. Like I haven't smoked in like 3 months. Because I still work technically under a job that falls under federal law,
mm,
so I can't legally be under the influence.
right,
Even though it is completely legal in my state, it is not federally legal, so they can still fire me for it.
yeah,
So we gotta kind
fucking
of watch how
bullshit.
I do it. I can't do it like every day like I want to.
Well, and what's annoying too is like even something that is federally legal technically for you, like we'll say I'm not sure how much you know about this, but like THCA flower, which is like it's a
Mhm.
hemp grown flower, and it's entirely technically hemp, meaning that it federally it lands under the farm bill. You could legally take it to any state and not get in trouble for it because it's technically hemp. And
Right. It doesn't fall under.
THCA, the second you burn it,
Huh.
converts to THC. It's a legal loophole, one of the greatest in the world. But
That's
because
interesting. I didn't know this.
yeah, bro, we'll talk more about it later after the thing, but bro, it's fucked because even that would technically disqualify you. You can't even smoke CBD. They can technically
Nope.
fucking bullshit, bro. That's how I feel about that,
Literally,
man.
and then like I work for a utility company. We'll just say that because I don't want to. I've
Yeah,
said publicly, but that's buried in the fucking
yeah.
millions of hours of footage I have somewhere. Well, the 2 times I've talked about what I actually do. But I work for a utility company, part
Mhm.
of a union. So it's all run by people in their 70s who have no idea what the world is really like right now.
Yeah.
Like I work, let me just put it this way. I work at a place where more than half of the people who work there still think Donald Trump is president.
That's
It's not a joke.
that's that's a new level of sad I didn't know existed. That's dementia level of sad. Like
Yeah, they talk
Ronald
about Biden for
Reagan was
having
still
dementia.
in.
They're in the fucking delusion.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about politics. Neither side's good right now.
No, they're both abysmal.
That's the truth. That's
Yep.
like it's like people are mad at Robert F. Kennedy, but he has one good point that I love to bring up, and it is when you have both sides of the party aligned on going to war, it's a fucking problem.
Yep. Well, and I
And
think
that's where we're at. Everybody's on the same page of let's go to war with fucking with in Palestine and Israel. Let's go to war with fucking Russia. Why?
What? The fucking corporate war machine, man. The
Money.
line
Yeah,
that
it's money.
fucking pockets of people. That's what it is. And they're so good at splitting the room to make you think there's divide, to make you think you have a
There's not.
cause and a side.
Yeah.
It's all the fucking same, bro.
It's
We
the
all
same
believe the
shit.
same dumb shit. You sit down with any of these
Yep.
fucking people, and granted, yes, there's small differences on each side, you know, gun control, et cetera, et cetera. But you sit down with anybody, all politics aside, and you have a conversation with them about what they want in life, anywhere in the world, ain't even in America. Bro, I grab someone from fucking Zimbabwe, sit down with them at my table, make a meal, and fucking eat and like talk about what they want out of life. We all want the same fucking thing. We want the pursuit of happiness. We want to be free. We want to fuck, pray to our God, and then go the fuck to sleep.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And that's the thing. Most people don't care to look past the surface.
Yep.
Which is the problem with our society in general, because they're so stuck in their own, oh, this is what this article said, that's what's right. Yeah, that's cool.
Bro, literally.
But they don't look, where'd that article come from? Who's the backers of that news organization? Who's profiting from this article? What does the article actually say? Because the headline of the article and the article are two different things. The headline is clickbait. It's supposed to make you react.
I say to people all the time, the issue isn't side-based. The issue is that we've lost the ability with the internet and television, honestly, to critically think for ourselves. We've lost the ability to interpret what is happening and then think about it for ourselves and say, how does this genuinely make me feel? How does this affect me and my country, my people?
Yep, exactly. And we lost that togetherness.
Yep.
That we used to have as Americans. It used to always be like America versus the world.
Yep.
And now we're too busy fighting each other to even know what the fuck's going on. Because it's just become, we need to hate this person for them doing that. Oh wait, no, it's a new week, so we're gonna hate this person, or we need to be on this side or that side, or you're voting for who? It's fucking, it's ridiculous. Man. There's so many class divides at this point where it's just like, what's going on?
That's
what's gonna happen?
You just said it right there. No, that word you used. It's not a racial divide. It's not.
No, it's a class divide.
It's not exactly. It's all classism. It's all about keeping the lower and middle class low and middle. And they're honestly trying to do away with middle now. Like,
yeah, no, the current regime that runs our country doesn't want the middle class, because the middle class at any point can just reach up and be like, I'm in the fucking upper class now, because they have the means to, which is that's literally the American dream. That's why we exist, because it was a 3-class system.
Yep.
But they want to do away with that, so it's just, we're up here running everything, you all stay down in your slums and fuck off.
It's communism, bro. The lack of capitalism is literally communism. If you don't have the ability to go out with your own 2 hands and fucking make something and succeed, you're in a communistic society where the government controls you. And anybody that thinks the government control is a good thing, like to any degree,
not the way it is.
Yeah.
There is a difference between the government being protective and the government fully controlling us.
Exactly.
You can have a government in society that is protective of its people and allows its people to flourish, but the way we exist currently, the government has chains on us that just keep us where we're at and does not allow us to grow as a society, period. They control the school systems, they control politics, they control everything. There is nothing that we are allowed to do that is not within the confines of that. And that's not a good thing. That's the thing that people don't realize is even happening, because nobody wants to look past what's really going on.
That's why when they were announcing like all the candidates for this coming race, and like people were talking about who were going to get in the race, when Vivek Ramaswamy got into the race, bro, I was like, that's my fucking guy, bro. If you ever listen to any of the shit he says, he's like, bro, fuck it, I'm brown. Doesn't matter if you're brown or white. Like, I came from nothing. My parents had nothing. I made $1 billion company, and now I'm running for president with my own money. Let's all just survive on the system of meritocracy. And what you do constitutes what you get. Like, to me, that is like the most no-brainer 101 fucking rule of society, bro. Like, succeed off your own volition and meritocracy.
And do your own shit.
Literally. Yep. Don't try and control other people. Like, obviously, if someone's fucking shooting people up or fucking butchering people, yes, that person needs to be stopped. But if you're not directly harming other people...
Hey, man, don't talk about what I do on the weekends. Come on.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. That's weekends are different, man. Hey, weekends are for the boys, you know what I'm saying? Just kidding. Don't kill people.
No, it's true. It's true. It's a sad place we live in, and it's scary because I don't know what's gonna happen. Is the worst thing about it
Yeah,
because like no matter which way this cookie crumbles in this
It's crumbling.
election, it's gonna be difficult. The next 4 years are gonna suck.
yeah. But
And then it's like
simultaneously, life is what you make of it.
this is also true. You gotta. That's what I have learned. Is like you can sit. I have. Let's just put it like this. I have a neighbor who just this is all he thinks about. Right? He lives by himself. All he sits and thinks about is politics. Is he's just so angry and just in this zone. Every time you talk to him, it's just like all he'll bring up. Oh, it's because of this or that or this or that. And it's just like going. And it's
Well,
like he's so miserable because of it. And it's like if you just let that shit consume you, you're never gonna be able to live your life.
that's
You
literally
gotta
what I
learn
was
to
just about to
separate it.
say.
You
Like,
gotta learn to separate it. You gotta learn to separate yourself from everything. You have to find your moments, which is something I think you've gotten very good at, or are getting good at, I should say.
I appreciate that. I really do. I think
Because I could tell just getting back to the point of this whole fucking interview is I could tell just from the way you put the album together and the ordering of the songs, you picked your moments that you wanted to shine above everything, and that made the journey of going through it very fun. One of the things that I did cut out that I did want to tell you because I didn't leave it in the reaction, I should have, is I fully believe that this album specifically is one, I think it's your best album.
thank you.
I think it's the best body of work complete that you've put together. But two is it is the one thing you've put out that is meant to be experienced all together. Like the best way to experience is listening to it front to back. And I
Yeah,
think that's what really, really like sold the album to me of like this is incredible.
I, I, I
And
really
that was something that I
appreciate.
was like really it was cool to see. It was cool to see.
I really appreciate you saying that because I mean we were literally even briefly talking about this like with people's attention spans and I brought up like I realize this isn't going to be something that most people will play front to back, but like that is part of like the experience of because like when I wrote this album, I wrote it in a way that I wanted to tell like the different stages and experiences that you kind of go through when you find love in life. I feel like,
Mhm.
or at least the ones that I went through, anyways, and like the
And it's a lot
summarize
of the
that
same ones I went through.
struggle.
You're fine.
Yeah, hell yeah. But kind of summarize that struggle of like balance and learning to love in a way that maybe isn't the best way. I guess I don't know. I'm high as shit, but
No, that's fine.
those
It's fun.
stages
You
of
make it
love.
fun.
Thank you.
No. You definitely went through both the stages of love and the stages of grief in your album, which is something that I pointed out during the reaction. It was like it feels like we're going through the stages in your mind of what you went through during these things. Like it felt that's why I compared it to the which was one of my last reactions I did last year was the Macklemore album that he released last year because that's what the whole album is. It is a series of events that happened in his brain that led to a breakdown. And so it's like there's some highs in there, but it's mostly lows, and it's just like build, and then at the end of it, sit good with yourself after everything has come to pass. And it felt like we hit the beginning of the album, felt like we were at the mid journey. The halfway point of the album felt like we were at the end of it, and then the end towards the end of the album felt like it was this is where we're going. This is where I've steered the ship and where I have decided to be. And that was a beautiful sentiment to feel through. And it really did. I felt through it. I went through a whole you saw the reaction. I went through a whole
Yeah.
bunch of fucking emotions in that whole thing. Which is rare. Cause like, don't get me wrong. Every so often I'll get a song where they make me emotional. I don't get an album that very often that literally makes me go through like all of the emotions. Like,
Well,
and that your album definitely did that.
I'm glad I was able to elicit that. That was honestly like I had to ask myself because like I went back after the album was released and like I was like, who are these songs for? Like when I really listened to it, I was like, none of them are like catchy. Like some of them are like they have catchy elements, but like they're very like they really do just tell a story. And like I feel like a lot of people don't like listening to stories in music. They like that in movies, but like to go through and hear a story, I feel like in songs just isn't as good as like throwing on something that's vibey, is catchy, it'll get stuck in your head. But like after I put it out, like after it actually went out and I had that thought of like who is it for, I was like this was just for me. Like I this was like something I had to get out and like tell that story. And so the fact that you interpreted that and still took it away, like that means a lot to me, that it's able to extend to that realm and not just end up being for me, but someone gets it too, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that was the thing that I touched on a little bit, but I didn't go like full into it during that reaction. Was it felt like not all of the songs on the album, but like a good majority, they weren't songs for me and for Dill and like all the homies. It was songs that you needed to get off your chest,
Yeah.
and I felt that because there's a difference. There's a difference when a song is written for a person and when a person writes a song for them and for an emotion, through emotion. That is what makes a great artist. I've always said this through all of my reactions, is I can tell the difference when somebody is just singing a song versus whether they really really feel that in their soul. And you have always been an artist who feels through music. So seeing you do that in your medium at this level with this sound and just the way everything was very powerful and very very fun to watch. Like it was interesting because it was like I could tell you were becoming the butterfly at that moment, and by the end of it you were where you wanted to be to move forward past what you needed to move through. And that was a beautiful and hard journey to watch, but it was beautiful.
I really appreciate that.
Because the other thought I had through the whole thing is like, man, just needs a hug.
More than you know. Like when I was writing those songs, bro, more than you fucking know. It was cuz like it was
Oh yeah,
tough.
I can imagine.
Like when it was all happening too, like I didn't really have like a lot of people around me. I have one like close friend nearby that I could like trust and like tell things to. And I know like you can do that as well online with people, but it's like it's not really the same as sitting down with somebody and going through everything and like really, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
so to be through that, like it was hard to get out, and it was the only way I could get it out. I felt like, like I couldn't go to a therapist. I could tell people, but it wasn't like the same as like putting out the emotion, you know? Like it was almost like taking the emotion out of me, putting it onto the song, and then now I don't have that feeling anymore. Like
You don't have it
I have
anymore
the
in you. Yeah.
memory, just not the feeling anymore.
Yeah, and it's also part of that. Sometimes that's what you need, because that is your therapy. That's
Exactly.
the thing. That's the thing. Music is for me. Music has always just been my therapy. That's the place that I go when I need to get past something. That's just plain and simple. That's it. And seeing that from an artist perspective and seeing you going through those emotions, I could tell just by the inflection in your voice. Like I could tell in some of those takes, I guarantee you were just bawling by the end of it. And just like and you just because it was just such strong emotion. And that's what you needed to get past that. You needed it off your chest. You needed to work through it. But also the reason that you're able to understand it and grow from it is that you're understanding it through writing it out,
Yeah,
which is a
exactly.
thing that not a lot of people can do. Like there are people who that works in therapy, talking it out and doing it. For an artist, that is always going to that is the medium of doing it. Is you got to get through that. You have to understand those thoughts, understand your emotions in those thoughts, and move past them and learn and grow from them.
Bro, you just described it perfect. You took the thought that was in Hynek's brain that he couldn't verbalize, and you telepathically took it and then verbalized it for me. So that's yes, 100%, man. You like the way you said it. y- How many people actually take a breakup or whatever the scenario might be, and then especially one of like long standing, like a 5-year relationship, and how many people will take it and genuinely analyze every single moment where things
Mhm.
were going wrong and say, okay, what happened here? Dang, I was in the fault here. Oh, she was in the fault here. We could have both done better here. And like really doing that and writing it out and really like, again, because you have to in music you have to be clever. You have to take words and describe them in ways that that are sonically pleasing. They have to fit a certain sound and as well as fucking rhyme schemes, etc. But
Right. In technical terms, you have to have the proper cadence and BPM to appeal to the
yeah,
ear. In
exactly.
layman's terms, it had to sound good.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But like to do that, and so you're overthinking then every single thought about the situation because you want 'em to sound nice. And then when you
Mhm.
overthink it, you start to reanalyze situations and say, well, I could do better here in life. And then a lot of the lyrics actually in some of the songs got rewritten because of changes in my thought processes after.
See, and this was going to be one of my questions to you. Ironically, was how many of those real emotional ones did you rewrite like multiple times? Was it just like all of them where it was just you constantly would like, oh, this line doesn't fit the way I wanted to, or doesn't evoke the emotion I wanted to, and you changed your mind listening to it and rewrote it? Was it stuff like that, or was it literally like throw the whole verse away? I don't feel that way anymore. I want to evoke it this way.
Um, so there was I'm pretty sure every single song on there got some line rewritten or another, but there was a few
Mhm.
that had whole verses rewritten. Like Freaky Fights was one of them. Bitch
I love that
Please was
song.
one of them. Uh, that's most people's favorite
Freaky
actually.
Freaky Fights makes me laugh. That song makes me laugh every time I listen to it.
Really
Like it's a good
good.
song.
Um, Stratosphere was another one of them, and Ecstasy actually was really interesting because the song Ecstasy, or no, excuse me, Weather was initially halfway written. So I wrote about 90% of the song and then I sent it over to Postcard. And I was like, "Yo, Matt, you want to hop on this? Like, oh, this section, I think you'd go great on this." He was like, "Yeah." And so we got it all together. And in the midst of him writing the verse is when I went out to see the the person.
Right.
We're just gonna not invoke the demon by speaking
That
its
was fun.
name. Um,
Understandable.
but fucking so the situation transpired before that song was finished, and so the way that the song was initially written was like, "Hey, after the storm, we'll be all right. Like things suck right now, but it's gonna be okay." But then, like after everything happened, there was the change where I had written like, "I'm in the eye of the storm. I don't know what to do." And then I can't get over you because that was when things had ended. So it's like some of the
Mhm.
songs initially being started in a direction, like while
Nope.
and I, oh fuck, while the individual and I were
We'll
together.
bleep it
So,
out.
Maji,
Got you. Post. Bleep it out.
we'll fix it in post.
Don't
Yeah,
give. Don't give. Yeah. Don't give. We won't give. Obviously,
appreciate
we won't
that.
give
That's
that situation, or that we'll just call that person the situation
I'll talk.
any more
I'll tell you
fuel.
more
Yeah.
off the stream because there's something that
Yeah. That's
recently
fine.
happened that you would not believe the audacity of. But
I've been wanting to check in, but like we've both been so busy, it hasn't
bro,
happened. I'm
life
sorry
has
for
been crazy.
that.
Don't apologize, man, because I think about that all the time. It happened with, man, like everybody I used to talk to, Mitch, Hagen, Dustin, you, fucking Harley, like so
Even.
many. Yeah, even, bro. I think I spoke with even once
Oh, he
last year.
stops by. He stops by every so often in streams, and every time we play GTA, he hops on at least for like an hour with us.
Well, that's good.
So he's really good about like keeping. He's been. He's gonna watch this and probably say that I'm wrong about this. So I'm just gonna say it anyway, and he can correct me later. It feels like he keeps an eye on me to be like, "Is everything good?" Like, on me and Dustin more than anything, and that's cool. I like that he stops in, or he'll message every so often, and like, Even's a cool dude.
Even,
He's
what
he's
up?
definitely one of those people. Yeah,
Nah,
what's up,
that's
Even?
good.
I know you're probably gonna end up seeing this.
Fucking communication
We'll play
goes
GTA
both.
soon. We're planning on going back soon to finishing the Ryan series, by the way, if you're watching. So hit me up about that so we can plan it.
Communication goes both ways, so I should hit even up too. So it's been a minute, but I'm hot as shit.
Yeah, it's lost we this is the problem. We're both ADHD. We're both gonna go on tangents and lose our train of thoughts. That's why I
It's
need
our
a co-host.
superpower.
Yeah, this is true. I need a co-host that'll be like, no, this is what you were talking about.
Me, when I
you
don't
were you
smoke
were
weed,
talking
I'm good. I can control myself.
yeah. But you were talking about how you changed the verse on the PFE feature
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't even
after
change it,
after.
but I finished it because it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah,
it's
see, because
like,
I caught that. I caught that it felt like it was two different time periods from the beginning of your verse to the end of that song. I caught that in the reaction, like it felt like two different nicks, and I called it out because it very much felt like because even during one of the lines that really like stuck with me is that like is the eye of the storm line where you're like I'm not sure if I'm ready to move forward. That is like me to a T on a lot of things is
yeah.
because it's like it is a combination of anxiety and fear and not knowing what's coming and you don't know whether or not you're ready to move on because you're so used to living in that space and that was one of those lines that caught me off guard where I was like oh fuck that really like really caught me at like the back of my soul like ah
Sorry.
because it was also just like one of those lines too where I'm like fuck I wish I thought of that.
Man, and there's so many of those, like, I find in other people's songs too, where I'm like, "Oh, that's so like, so simple, like, such a great way to put this
But
way of
the
thinking.
most
Why?"
recent one
What's that?
and the one that really catches me to this day and the one that caught Eminem too which is funny is the fucking brand new verse from Lil Wayne, the fucking Funyuns line. I got a bunch of zeros like a bag of new Funyuns. That is a line in my head. I was like, motherfucker, that makes so much sense.
That
And
is
even
pretty
Eminem
solid.
tweeted about it. He's like, I wish I thought of that. God damn it, that's good. Like, this is like, there's just every so often you just get caught as an artist where you're like, fuck, I could have written that.
You get a good
Like,
way to describe something
sometimes
where
you
it
get
can
a
be
whole song.
visualized. Yep.
Yeah,
Bro,
sometimes you get a whole song. Dude, oh, there's so many of those where I'm like, fuck, I could have done this. Or I'll even see myself as like, I could have done this better. That's the
but the
cocky in me.
caveat there is it's like you gotta find your own moments, and that's what I think I learned from
Mhm.
making this is, like, when you get those feelings, when you have those, like, sparks of inspiration, you're really like, you just know you gotta write stuff down, your brain will find what it needs to say, and
Yeah, exactly.
that's being in the
It's
eye
like
of the
a
storm, man.
yep, exactly. It's like the story Tech Nine tells about writing his final verse for Sriracha. Is that he wanted the lines to go with one beginning letter, right? And he couldn't think of the words and he just sat with it for like days at a time and more words kept coming that would rhyme and then like he would look them up and be like oh yeah that's a real word use that and it finally just worked and sometimes you have to do that in music you have to figure out sometimes your brain is ahead of your writing ability
Yeah, 100%.
and you have to figure it out
Well, and sometimes
which
your
is
br
also the fun of it.
so and that's exactly the part I was gonna say with your brain being ahead, your feelings are left behind unprocessed, and so your brain's gotta
Yep.
come back and process that shit, and that's where a lot of those words can come. Well, and granted, it's different with a song like Sriracha, but like in like a song where you're actually like pulling out emotions from things and things of that nature, like yeah, the words don't come immediately. Like some of those songs took me literal months to finish. Like one even took over
Mhm.
a year to finish. Shit, Phases literally did not get finished until a month before, and I started that song back in fucking January, no, December of 2022. So that
Okay so
song
see
over a
that is
year.
one of the songs I called out too and this was a question I had to you. Were there other songs like that where like were written super early on, and then songs that were like in the middle, and then like because there are some songs that felt like it was when you were just getting into the sound that you're at currently, and then
Mm,
there's some where like you're in the pocket, and then there's some where you're past it where you're just flowing with it,
yeah.
and it very much felt like there was a lot of that in the album.
So and again, that comes back to a lot of it. There were parts where that were rewritten as well. So like that's a chunk of it. Some of it was rewritten like right towards the end kind of thing. So it had the evolution of all the songs. Because I've made a fucking 20 or 30, maybe even 40 songs in between all those songs as well. I mean, there was
that didn't get used.
yeah, bro. So the thing about phases, like the actual song phases as well, all the original song titles are in that final verse. So there's a couple that you catch that where like you hear the song titles and it's like,
See, and I
oh,
caught those, and then I was like, "What are these other ones?" And it's I
so
had a question about
yeah,
that.
so the original song titles were I'm on my or so on my own, on to the next. On my own was gonna be the original intro as well. Um,
Is that the one you sent me a long time ago?
it's possible. It's
Because
like
that
6 minutes
sounds
long.
familiar. Yes.
Then probably, yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Because I remember you sent me one, and you're like, this is, this is what will be the lead track for the new album." I remember you saying that
then yeah,
that
yeah,
I'm
that's
working on, and
probably
that so I'm one, but it was, and I was thinking about it, going through my reaction and stuff again, and like for this, of like that song's not in here, and I was gonna. A good thing you brought it up because I completely forgot about
yeah.
it.
Well, then yeah, that was it. That verse where it's like I'm on my own and all I know is that I'm on to the next. On to next is one of them. I overdose. Overdose was gonna be a song on there. I'm Romeo but without Juliet. Romeo and Juliet. Um, all I know is that I'm on to the next. Overdose and all them freaky fights that led to makeup sex. Makeup sex wasn't a song. Um, the feelings of ecstasy we knew they'd never last. I'll be laid back
But
now. Whether
"Makeup Set" could be a song that we
it
could write.
it could have been, and it could still be,
It
but
could
I don't
still
know
be.
how Nessy's gonna feel about that.
Yeah, because we don't really fight because we're the same. I've told you this, and Dustin knows this now that he knows her. I really found my twin. We're the
That's
same
what you got to
person.
do, bro. You got to find someone that matches your energy. They tell you all this bullshit, opposites attract.
Opposite
Fuck
attract. It's
that.
bullshit. It's
Fuck
bullshit. It's
that.
complete bullshit.
You might be attracted to one of your opposites
Not even
because
you're
it's
attracted.
new,
You lust
it's
after that
shiny.
person.
Yeah, exactly,
And
exactly. It's new, it's novelty. But if you want to fucking be with someone forever, find yourself in a person. Like, obviously, don't like be narcissistic about it, if that makes sense. Don't clone yourself and then put a wig on it or whatever. But fucking
I
like
mean,
find someone who matches your energy. And hey,
yeah,
listen, you don't talk about what we're doing on the weekends in public yet. All right, chill.
that's right. My man knows we're gonna get it. No, but it is that it's fascinating to know that you had this many other ones, like these other ideas that
And
that didn't come through or just weren't finished yet. Were there some of it that just weren't done in time for the album?
no,
Like, are there still some that
actually,
you want to finish?
no. So it wasn't that they weren't done in time. It's that the album that I had originally had 21 songs on it. And I thought about that. I was like 17 songs is a lot, but like and like some of the songs in some parts felt like redundancies, and then others I just didn't feel like fit the same caliber of what I was
Mhm.
really trying to portray, and I couldn't make them in the way that I wanted to. So it's like if they were redundant and they weren't really fitting the quality of what I wanted, then I was just like, you know what? It's not it doesn't need to be in there.
Right. And I could feel too that it felt like you really picked and chose songs that all kind of sat on the same spectrum.
Yeah,
And that's why the whole album, like, again, back to listening from front to back, that's why it works front to back too, is because they really are all on a spectrum that exists within the same sound profile almost, and it all kind of works, and a lot of them connect together, and like it was a story, and it was really 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 cool to
I
watch.
appreciate that. I'm glad
Yeah,
you
I
actually
loved it,
got
dude.
the
I
story out of
fucking
it.
loved it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, no, that was the first. I was like 3 songs in, and I was like, oh, I see what this is gonna be. This is not what most people do with albums, which is a collection of songs that they've made over whatever. This is like a conceptual album. This is I'm going through emotions. I need to get through it, and this is gonna be a story from front to back, and it is a journey of growth that we are watching, and I'm here for it. I
I
think that's also
appreciate
why I
that.
had to split it between 2 sessions because it got heavy. Even when the last song hit me the hardest because at that point I was tired. and I had gone through a bunch of emotions, and it was like once that last song finished and the album was done, and I'm like looking back at it, I'm like, I just need a minute. I took like 2 hours. I did some reading. I just like sat with my thoughts and just like went through a whole emotional roller coaster of like just need to breathe for a second, and then came back and was like, yeah, I understand this story, and it is beautiful, and it deserves to be heard by more people.
Man,
That
you're
is the
gonna
biggest
make
thing.
me cry now.
Well, you know this, and this is something I've always been a person who I want to give flowers to people when they get achievements, and I've always been really good about doing that with you specifically, because you took me in as your friend when you didn't have to, when I was in a real bad place. You I don't know if you remember this. You and Dustin had an intervention with me at one point because I was trying to drink myself to death. It was a whole thing about
Vaguely.
that. It was a long time ago. This was right before I met Nessy, and um, I was literally to the point where just like I am going to kill myself. I'm going to drink myself to death. That's it. That's where I want to be in life. But y'all kept me around just long enough to get to Nessy and then find my reason for living and get past that. But you and Even and Dustin and Zach and just like everybody like took me in and was like, no, you're our person now. Like you are part of this group now. And y'all didn't have to do that, and I will forever be grateful for that.
I think, man, life is all about just finding good, genuine, authentic people and holding on to it, holding on to them and not letting them get away from themselves because of things like that. And bro, it's like the minute we started talking, bro, like the second I heard, the way you joked around, like your energy, bro, I knew. I was
Well,
like,
that's the
this
other
is a
thing.
good, authentic person. Like, and so it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, of course, bro. And that goes for anybody that I know, even people I
they're
don't know.
friends
If
with.
you're ever feeling in a fucking type of way, like I believe in good, authentic people. Come talk to Nampy.
Yeah, I've always had that message with everybody. There's even a message that goes on my chat bot. It's like if you ever just need to reach out to someone, you need someone to talk to, my DMs are always open. I may not answer them immediately, but I will answer them and just reach out, say what's up, see what's going on. If I can help you, I will. If you just need someone to listen, I'll be there. I'm cool with that. I don't mind just sitting and listening to someone's story. That's one of my favorite things. That's the thing that I have found the most in my life over this metamorphosis I've been going through over the past couple of years is that I am a person who loves hearing, experiencing, and sharing stories. So that's why I love video games. That's why I gravitate more towards story video games and anime and stuff, because I want to experience that story, that emotion, that thing,
Yeah,
and I want to share it. I want to share that experience with as many people as possible.
I think,
And that's
man.
where, and it's the same thing with music. That my writing style has always been to tell a story, to have a. It's never just like. Don't get me wrong. I have plenty of verses I've written where it's just like rhyming to rhyme,
Right.
but I always like having some basis of like we're talking about just go for example that we're talking about makeup sex. Like that's what my verse is about. We got to get to what leads to it. How do we get there? What's the feeling like? That's where the verse is going.
Well, and man, it's funny you say that because that's exactly like the song "Freaky Fights." Like when you fucking listen to it, it's like we go down this road again. Wonder when it
Mhm,
ends. Blah blah blah. But it literally like the song starts by like, okay, one work day and a couple of drinks. Like one word said. Like I just got home. You said one fucking word. We're already fucking shouting again. Now we're fucking on the same like type of thing. It's like it literally that takes you through every step of it, kind of thing. Like
mhm.
yeah, I think that's the fun part about making music too, is being
Yeah,
able
it's
to
that.
illustrate a
Also, when
journey.
it comes together and you hear it for the first time, you're like, oh, it worked.
Right, you're like, "Oh, this makes
I have one
sense."
like that. I have one like that right now where that may release soon if I ever decide to finish it. Where I have it partially written and recorded. I think I have one verse recorded, but I have the other two verses written. And I played back the first one and then went through this other two, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna work."
Bro,
Like in my head lit up, and I was like,
let's
"This is
sit
gonna
down
work. This is
together,
good."
bro. I'll sit down on a
Yeah, I'm
call with
down.
you while you record it. We can go over, get live feedback, and I'll fucking mix it for you or show you how to mix it. Like, We can make that shit happen. Make a fucking
You
bat.
could show me for the next 3 years how to mix, and I'm never gonna get it. I'm
All
gonna
right.
tell
Well, I
you right
can
now.
mix it
I
for
have
you
tried.
then.
Yeah, I've gone through courses, I've gone through people doing tutorials, I've gone through books that people have written about. I just don't, my brain doesn't work that way for some reason,
So you want to know the
and I
secret?
don't know what it is. And you know what I think it is? I think I need, like, if I was with you right now and you're doing it and I'm watching you do it, I think I'd pick that up better
Yeah.
than trying to
I
learn
would,
it. I'm not a good learner.
well, the analogies. First of all, mixing is done in such like people tell you, oh, you have to have these specifically done first, and that you have to have it. Like to me, I had it have it explained to me like a sandwich. When someone told me
Mhm.
about it as a sandwich, it started to make more sense. They're like, think about your compressor. That's a slice of bread. All right. Think about what goes next. Your EQ, that's your burger. All right. You're crisping it up. You're
Okay, I see
making
where you're
it
going with
good.
this. Okay.
Then it's like, but you don't want to, you don't want your vocals just to go all willy-nilly with the first compressor, so you add another slice of bread. You got a triple layer here. Yeah, you might put a piece of cheese on top of that burger. Those are a couple little effects, but then you're compressing it again. There's another slice of bread. And then you fucking put some minor additions to that whatever else is on top of it, some condiments, and then those are your reverbs and your thing. And then really, bro, I don't know dick about mixing. I just fucking turn dials, man, until I
Until
like
it
the way it
sounds good.
sounds. Yep.
That works. That works too. I think that's kind of what everybody does. It's just some people understand it on a technical level more than others. Where
I've
I
grown
just
to
don't. I feel like
understand
I
it.
don't have the ear. I feel like I just don't have the. I have the ear for it when it's done, and I can understand like this.
That's
Oh, they
it,
did
bro.
this with the equalizer. They did this with the this and that. Like, 'cause you've heard me break down songs like that, where like I can break down the technicals of it. I just don't
Mhm.
know how to get to that point.
So again, I didn't for the longest time. I really like initially like when I started tweaking because like so the way I started mixing, I had downloaded a preset, something that was already made, and I was like, cool. And I put it on all of my vocals, and half the time it sounded okay, most of the time it sounded bad. And then like so I would slowly turn knobs and change the number and like then I would watch a video and they'd be like, okay, when you're doing this, this is what changes here. And I'd be like, I still don't really understand. But then I'd start to do it and I'd hear the differences in the sound. I'm like, oh. And then like I start playing with little things on my own. And then eventually I'd find plugins that would recommend like for one instance, I got the CL1B compressor, uh, which is like a piece of hardware usually. People fucking love this thing.
Mhm.
It's in all studios. It's the blue box compressor. And
Oh,
I've
okay.
been
I know what that is.
yeah, yeah. I've been using the CLAs and the LA2A, LA3A, which are normal compressors. They're great compressors too. I fucking still use them. I love them. Uh, but they have a certain sharperness to it. The minute I put that CL1B plugin on, it had this warm butteriness about it, and I was like,
Right, like it smooths everything out.
yeah. So
Like,
you start to
I
find
understand. That's
plugins
sick.
as well where you hear like certain sounds, and you're like,
Differences.
okay, I know that sound is created from this combination of effects. You know what I mean?
And see, I'm slowly learning a little because of editing.
Hmm.
Because I love, my favorite thing to do in editing is soundscapes. I love to add little sounds here, and like, even like with my gaming videos, I love to like, cool headshot. That's a pop. That's literally my girlfriend going, like that's literally what it is, and I just turn it up so it's like in your ear, pop, and then like I kill someone with a shotgun. It's a smack, and it's like like these little like things, and then I have music laid in the background that complements whatever's happening. So if it's we're joshing back and forth, it's always going to be something a little goofier and a little more upbeat. My favorite thing to do is the fucking fights, because it's this one rock song I found that just works for everything, and it comes in so heavy, and it's just like if you feel like you're in that moment when you watch it, and it's just one of those things that has just worked for me. So I am slowly learning what those things can do, but translating that to music is where I'm having this trouble.
Well, that's exactly where I segued from though, bro. Like I fucking edited. I love doing special effects editing. I love meme editing for my videos and shit.
Well, yeah,
But
you
then
professionally edited for a
yeah.
long time,
And then
which is
like
mind-boggling to me still.
and when it's funny cuz like initially when I started making music, I sent everything to Pluffaduff. I was like, "Bro, mix it. I don't wanna I don't." I looked at the fucking software, it
Yeah, fuck
confused
that guy.
the fuck out of me. You feel how you feel? You know?
You know that story. Fuck that guy.
But I digress. On a lighter
And
note,
just fucking, I'm fucking
we'll
around. I
bleep
hope he's
his
doing
name
well.
out
I
too.
don't wish no. Leave it in, because I'll say this: I don't wish illness upon anyone. If I
Yeah,
don't like you, I don't like you, and I'm not gonna have nothing to do with you. But I still wish you the best. Plus, I
same.
hope you're successful and having a great time in life. I don't want to be your friend, nor will I ever be your friend. But I hope you're doing well.
And that's how I feel about She Who Must Not Be Named as well. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want anything to do with her, but I wish her the best. Um,
There's a whole thing with a recent situation that happened where it's a friend of a friend who I used to hang out with, who I just realized was a piece of shit, and I didn't, and was too negative for me, and I cut him out. It's like, I don't hate them. I want them to do well. They're a streamer as well. I want them to do well. I hope they do well. I hope they're successful. I don't think they will be, because they're going around it in a scummy way. But still, I hope you do well, and I hope you find a happier place than you're in, because I know you're not in one. But
I think
I'm
I
just
think
not going to
that's
be
the
there
key,
for it.
man, is just wishing people well, and it's also just not about having people in your life that are gonna bring your energy down and put you in, a
Mhm.
worse off place. Because that's the thing, man. You become the people that you're around. Do you want to be around people that
Exactly.
are happy-go-lucky and live good lives, or do you want to be around people that are always fucking bringing everyone down, fucking talking about how terrible everything is?
Yep. Yep, exactly. It can't. You have to have people around you that elevate you and also that critique you.
Yep, 100%.
That's why I like you remember him as he used to be Tech GG.
Mhm.
He's now Nocturnes. He's still one of my best friends in the world. I will send him things and be like, "Hey, tell me what you think about this video," and he'll just give me a breakdown. He's like, "This played too close to each other, or this didn't sound right," or that. Like, he'll critique it, and I love that. And he also helps me with streaming because he's a big streamer, and we'll be like, "Hey, this audio didn't sound right. Let's fix that." Or this video don't look right, or this your camera placement's a little weird. Let's fix that. Like, just those little things. You need that in your life too,
Yes,
because
$100%.
you can't be Kanye and have everybody be like, "Yes, sir, it's great," because then you say some racist shit on a podcast and get canceled.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Like,
Yeah,
you gotta
gotta
exist
have
in a
people that
bubble
keep you
that,
in check.
yeah, and also that want the best for you.
Yes.
That want you to be, hey, let's do the thing.
That's
Straight
it,
up.
man. Do the thing.
Yeah, let's do the thing. Let's make it big. Do it as big as possible.
Hell
Shoot for
yeah.
the moon. At the worst, you end up amongst the stars.
I don't know. My trajectory, I don't think I get much past the stratosphere. Maybe the troposphere.
I'm somewhere like right above Everest right now. Like my toes, I'm on my tiptoes on top of Everest.
That's how I feel after smoking that joint.
It was a fat joint too.
Oh yeah. You know how I do it.
I do, and I know. I've seen you hit dabs on fucking stream. You fucking psychopath. I've
Good
seen you
on
hit
you.
like 10 dabs back to back on stream. Do you remember that?
I do.
You might
Yeah.
not remember it because you're like,
No,
oh, for
I
every
do.
donation, I'm like, here's $100.
Yeah, I even had like the dab cam set up, didn't I?
Yeah. And you're like, for every $10 donation, I'll hit a dab. And I was like, cool. Here's $150, Nicholas.
I ain't no bitch. I'm a man of my word.
I didn't think you were gonna do it. I thought you would space them out at least.
Nope.
You were like, no,
That's not how this
back to
game
back.
works. Hey man, I ain't no bitch.
That is one of my. Is that stream still online?
It might be.
I should find that because that was so funny. Me and Even both were like, it's like we were in the same room together. We both looked at each other. We both donated at the same time. It was like, and I saw you look over and you're like, oh yeah. So like the realization of what you had to do after that.
Yeah.
This is the problem when you have friends with money, Nick.
I know. No, and see, that's the thing. Like, I've become that friend to some people. Like, when my income
Same.
comes in nicely, like I like to send my friends shit. And I have this one friend, We Scheme, and he'll sometimes do these like challenge streams or whatever, and
You
it's
shut the fuck up.
never a good idea.
That's
But
one of my favorite people on the internet.
Oh, you like Scheme? Bro, I
I
text
have
Scheme
been a fan of.
regularly.
I subbed to Scheme when he had like 1,500 subs.
Bro, Scheme is like, bro, we
I've been
text.
a fan of him forever because I didn't read your fucking track list. I never do that. I'm so bad about reactions and that. So when Postcard's name came up on my screen, you see it in the
I
reaction. I
saw,
lit
bro.
up like a light because I'm such a big fan of his. Because that's Gatsby with tattoos. Okay,
Yeah. Gatsby is a good friend of mine too, Jonah.
Gatsby is my favorite reactor. Also, he's hot as fuck. And he knows this because I've reacted to his shit and he's commented on my shit before, and he knows I think he's hot.
Bro, you'll have to I'll get you in touch with some of these people. Fuck,
I
next
would
time I
love to.
stream,
I
I'm
would
sure
absolutely love to.
I bet you Scheme would literally like next time I stream, I bet you Scheme would be
Mhm.
down to hop up on panel as well. Like,
Ooh,
like
yeah, that'd be
Scheme is a
fun.
very close friend. Like
That's
last
cool. Yeah, you're talking about I have like there are only certain people I can watch do reaction content, right? And it's literally like Gatsby, Post, No Life Shack, and that's pretty much it. Oh,
I,
and Knox, because he does breakdowns the way I do breakdowns. So I enjoy seeing what he says versus what I would say, and like
yeah,
it's always pretty similar. And that's why I do my reactions the way I do them, because I see the level he does his at, and I'm like, that's where I want to be.
hell yeah. But yeah, man,
But
I
yeah,
fucking know a
these are all
lot of
people
these
I'm huge
dudes.
fans of.
They're good people, man. Every
That's
one
so
of them,
wild.
they're fucking great people, man.
What's the name of the other guy you had for the feature?
Tony Lonely.
Who the fuck is he? And where was he my whole life?
But bro, he's been chilling. He's fucking TL3. He's another good homie of mine. Fucking great
Dude,
dude.
his
My man,
verse blew my fucking mind. Cause
he
like
fucking
his
killed
flow
it.
and cadence sounded like young Kendrick. And
Yeah,
I literally just heard, like, you could have played me that and not told me who it was, and I would have just said that was a Kendrick track. Like, it sounded like Kendrick. It blew my mind. But like the way he articulated and his rhyme schemes, it was just fucking beautiful. And I was just like, just that writing was perfect. And I was just like, holy fuck, this is a person I need to listen to more.
yeah, bro. Tony crushes it. He's constantly putting out new music too. So like, bro, you should definitely check his shit out.
I'm gonna have
That's
to
my
check.
boy.
I know I need more recommendations for him for sure,
Bro,
because I
I got
definitely want to listen to
tons
him.
of people in this indie music that you'd love, man.
Oh, I know. You can always just feel free to send me. Like I said, my main thing is I love album reactions.
Mhm.
But like someone drops a new thing that you're like, this is awesome, just shoot it to me.
I got you, bro. I got you.
And I would absolutely, because also I'm trying to at least do a 1 a week release of a video on the main channel. And it's hard because music doesn't drop like that.
Right, no. It does if you know
Which is why I
people,
want to get
bro.
into Yeah, which is also why I want to get into doing other mediums of reaction, like doing movie trailers, and also doing. There's this dude I follow. His name is Danny Mata. He does a lot of. You've probably seen him if you ever have anime content come across your fucking timeline.
He sounds
Um,
familiar.
he does reactions to like full shows, and he'll sit and do. He was doing Full Metal Alchemist recently. I think he finally finished it, but he did Has Been Hotel, which I only seen 2 episodes of and I loved it. But I was watching his reaction of it, and I'm like, why don't I just do that? Because he'll sit and react to the whole thing and just put like highlights of it in as the video. And I'm like, fuck, that seems like so much fun, because I talk just in general. So when I'm watching things, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Or I'll call out like I'll just do that naturally, which is why I don't go to movie theaters. Because I
Valid.
can't help but be like, whoa, or be like, holy shit, the way they shot that and the way that camera rig had to go through that car was
That's
probably crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. And then especially like me and you both, I'm sure you watch stuff too, because you've edited and be like, oh, I know where that cut was.
Yep.
And they tried to hide that shit, but I saw that shit.
See, I'm bad about it if there's no one in the theater. Like if I'm going with one or two other people, that's when I'm bad about it. But if it's a full theater, I can like contain myself. But like I'm thinking it.
Okay. I'm the person laughing hysterically at the bad guy dying. I have been
Valid.
kicked out of a few theaters.
Oh no. You're like,
But
oh, I'm
I
sorry. I
also
thought
have
this was
friends.
America.
Yeah, literally. But I also have friends who are like that, so it's fine. Like
Yeah.
even Nessy's like that. We watch shitty horror movies and just critique the shit out of them.
See, and but that's different. That's fun. It's fun to shitpost sometimes. Like, I'll do that for sure.
Yeah, but it's but that's why I also like reactions, is because I just do that in general.
Yeah.
Like either whether it's in my head or out loud, or like I'll be listening to something and be like, oh, the way that they compose this fucking beat is cool. They have the snares right at the front with real sharp hit, and then those guitars come in to smooth it out in the back, so it feels like this flowy thing. And it's like,
no, 100%, bro.
I just made that up, but I'm sure that's true about something. So were there any other features that didn't make it that you wanted? Like, were there people who you reached out to and it just didn't work out?
Yeah. So my other buddy, well, I guess he still technically made it to the album. So my buddy Jason Spacin, he was supposed to be on the song "Bitch Please."
Wasn't he the one from the little skit with the phone call?
The meatball, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was like, I know this name.
So yeah, that was him. He was on there, but he was supposed to do a verse on "Bitch Please." But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had some stuff come up though. He got, busy with some life things. Shit happens, and the time came, and I was like, well, fuck it, I gotta crank this shit out. So I finished writing the song, and honestly,
that song's dope too.
I'm happy with the way it came out.
There's only like 2 songs on the album where I'm like, eh.
And that's valid. I figured there would be, honestly. Like,
yeah, it's like 2 like right towards the end.
Yeah.
They're literally like back to back where I was like, eh. And I say it on the thing. I was like, I just don't feel this as much as I should.
And that's totally valid.
But everything else was like, it was either an emotion or I was just happy because of the way it was written and composed. Like, that was the other thing that was like, this is the highest level of production I feel like you've ever done.
Oh yeah, 100
Like,
million.
I could hear it. I could hear the way everything was layered and really, really like it was done by an MC, by a master craftsman of like where it's just there were layers to every little bit, and everything felt cohesive and beautiful, and it just worked and flowed in this just organic way that wasn't forced, and it just helped that. I feel like it also helped you flow that emotion out, and it felt great. I loved it.
I really appreciate that.
I've sucked your dick so much in this podcast, I might as well just fly out to you and just
listen. All right. But no, man. So the mixing, the production, like the sound production, there was actually a lot more that I wanted to do, that I was going to have in there, and it just came down to a time constraint. But certain songs, man, I probably re-recorded like 3 or 4 times because I just couldn't get them to sound the way they wanted, and so I was constantly changing the vocal chain, constantly adding new plugins. For Phases alone, I think I redid the vocal chain probably 4 or 5 times. And it's
Jesus.
Yeah, and it's like once you really understand like the spatial sound sonically, how things really should fit in the headphones, and huge fucking speaking of Scheme, shout out to Scheme for that, because Scheme, before the album was done, we sat down in a call and we went through all the songs, and I was like, what's missing in each song. And one of his biggest things was there's not enough, like everything sounds like it's fighting for one spot. He was like, you have to think of the headphones as like a stage, and a stage is typically like a semicircle. So imagine like the semicircle of around your headphones. He's like, everything needs to have its place on the stage. You can't have people right up all at the front, He's like, so spread more of this, place this more in such a way. And it's like, once he really started to explain that, and I could hear it differently. He also recommended this plugin called Ozone 11. Highly recommend. Not sponsored. Would love to be, but not currently.
So I always do that. Reach out, bitch. You won't.
Yeah, hit me up. But once he like told me that and we went through that, like, man, the difference it made in like making it sound like someone who's doing something in a home studio versus a professionally done studio was night and day. And I thanked him in my album booklet, which I still have coming your way. I've just been fucking unable to get the
No,
last
you're
things
fine. I
together.
know when
but
you said you
soon.
were gonna send me that, I was like a little kid. They're like, ah!
But he even
Literally,
got a
I
thanks.
threw my phone and I was like, oh my god.
Well, hell yeah! I hope it's worth it.
Yeah, I'll do a whole thing, and I'll do a whole thing and unbox it and shit.
Hell yeah,
It'd be
bro!
fun.
Content.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah, I'll probably end up getting emotional.
oh, you're also thanked in the booklet.
Motherfucker, what? No! No! Fuck. Now I'm gonna get emotional. God damn it.
My bad.
No, fuck. I appreciate it. I love you. You know, I love you. You are like a brother to me, legitimately.
Back at you, bro. Back at you. Been my boy
There
since
are a
day
few
one.
people who are legitimately family to me at this point, friends that I've met on the internet. It is you, Dustin, and Zach are legitimately like my brothers. I'm closer to you than I am most of 90% of my family. Like you guys are my family, like just straight up. And have been for I've been with Nessy for 5 years. I had already known you for like a year and a half at that point. No, I've been with Nessy for 6 years next month. So I've known you for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. That's about 2017 now. So yeah, 2016,
Yeah,
2017.
Well, I remember specifically when I subscribed to you. It was the fucking bear meme. Was it on Rust or something with you and Dustin? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. No,
I
it wasn't
subscribed
Rust.
during that live stream.
Grizzly Adams.
Grizzly Adams. That's it.
Grizzly Adams.
Grizzly Adams was the live stream that I subbed to you in.
Fucking Grizzly Adams on 7 Days to
So
Die.
what year was that?
That would have been 2016. Yeah. So
Yeah, so I've
fucking
been
8
subbed
years
then.
ago. God damn.
Yeah. And then I got to know you right after the Ghost stream.
Yeah.
Because I was in that stream. Actually, one of the clips that they show, the longer one, my name comes up on screen.
I think I remember that.
And then on the second one, of course, I was in a fucking Discord call with Dustin, Even, and a couple other people. There's a bunch of people in there. I don't remember who all was in there. I just know those people were there. Speaking of that, good segue.
Nope,
Are you tired of people bringing that up? Are you tired of people bringing it up?
We're cutting this part out of the interview.
No, this is just a straight up thing because
yes,
I know people. I still see people bring it up. Are you sick of it?
So very sick of it. It's one of the reasons.
But are you kind of proud because you are high key the most? You arguably have the most famous live stream ghost video ever.
I don't.
Are you a little proud of that?
In the moment, yeah, definitely. Now, no.
You don't want nothing to do with it.
I don't want anything.
Because I still see people bring it up, and I'm like, even I know, because we've talked about this before, but I know like this was years ago, and you were like, I'm done with this. This doesn't need to be part of who I am. And then it still comes up, and I'm just like, really? But I've seen people like fucking. I've seen Queso react to that fucking.
I've gone on dates with girls that have seen.
Who knew?
Yes, they're like, you look so familiar. Did we go to school together?
Which is weird. We see, but how long ago was that? Because you don't look like that person. You don't look the same at all anymore. Well, neither one of us. We've both changed.
But it's been within the past year. I've only
that's true.
Not been with the monster for a little over a year, like 2 years, I guess now.
That's great, and they still recognize you because you look so different, dude. That's wild. Yeah, people will recognize my voice from your streams. I've had so many people comment that on TikTok, where it's like, "Did you used to stream with Rebsy?" And I was like, "The fuck?
You in my room right now? What's going on?"
Yeah, what the fuck? I've had a lot of those where it's like you
Bro.
stream with this person. It's like,
Nah,
yeah.
they're not real people. That's the CCP creating a fucking web through TikTok, man. They're
It
fucking
could be. It could be.
they're like vocal recognition from this guy. Let's check this, verify this account. Are you
But
the
none of those streams exist anymore because that channel's gone.
There's always a way to
That's true.
access those things. There's clips too. There's numerous clips of my shit out there still.
So we kind of talked about it before stream, but I wanted to ask you, is there a part of you that would ever go back to streaming games? Like, do you ever want to do that again, even if it's just a little bit?
Yeah, and I kind of have occasionally. Like, I was streaming Remnant like a week or two ago, and I played a little bit of it. But for me, it's not. I would never want to do any sort of forced streaming again. Like when I started
You don't
streaming,
want to do the schedule and the fucking I'm gonna
well, no, I don't even
stream
mind
these
doing a
days and all
schedule.
that.
I don't even mind a schedule. I think I'm competitively, I should say. Like, so for me, when I started streaming, it was like games like 7 Days to Die, shit games with the homies because it was like I wanted to do something that fun with it. And then the second I started really getting into Call of Duty Zombies content, started getting into Fortnite content, like, bro, it drained my soul out. I was like, I don't want to have to do
Yeah.
this. I don't want to have to
Which
play these games.
it's not like it didn't pay, because let's be honest, at that time, you were top 5 biggest streamers for a while.
Well, it paid for my
And that
my
was
entire life. Like, it paid for my
yeah.
apartment, it paid for everything.
Yeah, but there's no doubt that you are somebody who should be recognized as a forefather for YouTube streaming, because you were one of the biggest streamers on YouTube before YouTube streaming was a thing. It was literally the only people bigger than you was Ali A and a couple of other people who were streaming on
There was
YouTube.
more. There was Dojo, there was
Yeah, but they
Gaming.
weren't as well known as you were. Because like I could go into anybody's stream and they would know who you were back then.
Fair enough.
Like even on Twitch, people who like you were in that pocket of just like everybody kind of knew what you were about and what you were doing. And it was I think it's really dope because I was there during that era. It was cool to watch, but also I could see at times you didn't enjoy it. Which is why
Yeah.
I kind of assumed that you would probably never go back to full time streaming games again, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I actually threw around the idea in my head of making like a gaming channel and literally only doing like stuff on content that I
Stuff you want.
enjoy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because
stuff you wanted to
for
do.
for me, it's not about the numbers anymore. It's it used to be, man, and I let them control me, and it fucking sickened me. And it's like, bro, it really made me mentally like drained and fucking like the more I've learned to do things just because I want to do them and because I love doing them, the more I'm gonna continue to put out stuff like phases. It's like I don't rely on music for my income. I have a great paying job where I'm really able to allot myself a lot more free time, and I spend time with my dogs. I work out, I meditate, I live a good healthy lifestyle now because of my job, and get the luxury of working on my music, and I get to build that. I get to choose to make a gaming content channel if I want to. Whereas before I had to. It became a job for me where I could not afford my apartment. I could not, feed my dog or whatever if I was not streaming, if I was not making a certain amount of. So I think that's really what it is. If I ever come back to anything like that, it's got to be because I love doing it and because I want to.
Right. It's got to be like the way Logic does gaming streams, where just like he'll do it like once a month and be like, we're just gonna play World of Warcraft for like a couple hours and talk.
Literally. And
shit like
that's
that.
all
Or like
that
T-Pain is just like, you know what? I'm really feeling this. I don't remember. I don't know
I'm
what the
making
last
this
thing he
song
streamed
and
was,
y'all
but
get to hang out while I do it.
yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be dope. That's the dream right there. T-Pain is literally set like the standard for what you can do with just in general content, because he does everything now.
Yeah.
Like he does reactions. Like
Bro,
he does.
he's the Shack of content creation, man.
No, for sure, because he not only he'll stream and then he has his whole team break it apart to stuff. It's like this goes to the gaming channel, that goes to the music channel, that goes to the TikToks. Like it's fucking dope to watch. It's where I want to be. Speaking of your meditation and that journey, you're becoming a guru little by little, bro. How did that start?
Um, it
What
started
was the what was the catalyst that made you be like, I want to share this self-help stuff with other people?
it worked. I mean, like that's really all it is it worked. Like when I was down bad, man, when I was really hurting from like the whole situation that had happened and I bro just miserably depressed and like it was unfortunate because like a lot had happened with my family too. Like my dad had a really bad accident and like my family needed like supplemented income kind of thing, so I had to be there for this. It was like everything hit the fan at once, and like I learned about stoicism, and it's like sometimes life puts you through these tests, and it's gonna be hard, but there's people that need you, and there's people that rely on you. And when I really started like learning more about these things and like how much they actually like, because I one of my best friends locally here, his name is Cole. Like we started doing some work together and like he was able to quit his job. Like he helps me full time. We get to do really dope stuff, spend our time with our dogs, work on our stuff. And so like that all happened because of wanting to improve myself, wanting to spend time and learn how to make my brain work correctly and think
Mhm.
like and learn how to exercise, learn how to eat right, like the little things like that. And I I do believe like I needed to learn that when I learned it, kind of thing. And it's like feeling the feeling of being like, man, I used to be so quick to anger, for instance. Like I used to be so even
Mhm.
in my streams sometimes, like someone would come and go get a real job, and I'd be like, oh fuck you, like I look what I'm doing. I get to play video games for a living, like so who gives a fuck? Why don't you go get a life and get like I was just so quick to anger
Yeah,
in
we're quick
everything,
on.
bro. And I realized that was because like I felt incomplete internally. I didn't care
Mhm.
enough about I cared too much about everything else, and I didn't care about like the way I felt inside. And it's like once you get in contact with that and you get to know yourself a bit better, and you like you sit down and genuinely ask yourself like, what do I want out of life? Like, am I headed in that direction? Are the things that I'm doing helping me get there, or are they hurting me? It's like once you have that moment of like clarity, you either continue doing what you're doing or you make an actual change. And it's like
Mhm.
even if bro, I don't have a lot of new subscribers, or I don't have a lot of subscribers on my new channel, but even if one, two, three of those people hear that and it clicks and they say, let me take some more initiative, let me look at other things. Like if he can do it, he's fucking nobody. He's just doing this. I'm doing it with him. If someone else can make that change in their life, like I want that to happen. That's that. It's not. I'm not over here trying to be Yogi Nampy. It's just that I'm just. I want other people to also not feel shitty.
I get it. You want to share that. You want to share that knowledge so other people can be in a better place. I get
Yeah,
that. That's
and
interesting
whether they
because
choose to take it
I've
or not.
enjoyed watching it. Because what was you put a video recently and I was like, that was dope.
Yeah, bro. That's literally. It was that video recently was about the book that I told you about at the start of this call. The
uh,
Atomic Habits book. That book is changing my fucking foundation for
yeah,
reality
I
right
will.
now.
That'll be my next. That'll be my next read when I'm
Hell
done with the
yeah.
one I'm on right now. Because I ordered it right away and it's
Call
coming.
me the
I'm
fuck up
excited.
the second you finish. I want to know your thoughts on
I
it.
will. I will. All right. I'll even fucking because I've been doing this lately. I have this is a fun thing that you may be interested in. So both with video games and reading and shows and stuff, I followed this thing where these people started doing like we used to do in school when we would take notes for a fucking book report.
Mhm.
Do that with your thoughts on a book or on a
Yes.
show or on a game and just have a notebook
Bro,
and
on
then go back
anything.
when you want to like relive that. And it's really cool. I do that with video games now where I'm like, I'll be editing through and I'll be like, oh, this is what I was thinking or what I thought about the game or things that this was cool piece of it. Or like, I'll even do little sketches of characters and like the whole thing. Like, it's just like, just fun little thing to do that just allows you to grow whatever thoughts and experiences you had on that and just keep it for yourself
Yep.
and have this little private
100%.
thing with it. And it's really cool.
Well, and it's not just that too. Like even I feel like keeping those thoughts, yes, but it also I feel like helps you understand yourself better. Like you can then think about it a little more. Like, okay, why did I have this thought at this moment for this particular thing? Oh, because I feel, oh,
Exactly.
this in relationship, like getting to know yourself, like we were talking about, man, that's so quintessential to just being happy, you know?
Yep. It's like the rant I went on about just sitting with your thoughts at the end of a day is very important.
Yeah, bro, 100%.
It's so fun. It's so funny how many Avatar: The Last Airbender fucking references I put in your reaction because I was watching it.
Bro, I heard quite a few, yeah.
There was like 6 I cut out, by the way.
Oh my God, that's
I
fucking
am not
hysterical.
joking. Because it was just in my mind. Because it's like I rewatched that and Legend of Korra that same week that I just finished Legend of Korra this week.
Mhm.
But it's like watching the original Avatar: Last Airbender as a fucking adult, I understood it.
You get a lot more
And
meaning out of
the
it.
story that was foretold and the character growth is the same things that we go through in life as a person. I realize I am at the point where Zuko is like midpoint in the series. I'm at that point right now in my life where he doesn't know what's coming next, but he knows something has to change. And that's the point I'm at with my life currently. But it was like there were just like small things that would just catch me and I'm like, why did that hurt? And that was one of those. It was the Iroh thing where Zuko at the end of the first season doesn't get the Avatar and they're fleeing from the Fire Nation, and he's like, "I'm tired," and Iroh's just like, "At the end of every day, every long day, a man needs his rest," and that shit hit me so deep in my soul, where I was just like, "Yeah, you're right," and I haven't taken that.
And sometimes I'll hear like something like that, like a small quote or something that really like hits me. Like one I heard recently, I wrote it over on my whiteboard. Days are made of mornings, lives are made of days. And like I thought about that. Yeah, bro, right?
Oh Jesus! Oh no!
You see what I'm
That
saying?
immediately made my eyes water. What the fuck?
And so it's, bro, we're not
Oh
nocturnal creatures. Like humans are
no.
not.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, no, genetically, like we
I
are,
know, I know.
the brain does, it does suffer from being a night owl. And it's like, I thought about that, man. And it was one of the things that made me really want to change my routine to make sure I'm waking up early and starting my day, because it's like days are made of mornings. The daytime is morning. And it's like
Right.
your life is made of days. Well, how do you spend your day? How do you spend your morning?
Mhm.
And so it's like the more productive I've been,
It's
the
the other
more,
thing that's the
sorry,
thing that's important about people. Time management. Continue.
literally.
I just wanted to
And
throw that
that's
in there.
exactly what I was gonna say. The most important thing is like how you spend your time, what you're doing with it. So it's like, are you, allocating 8 hours a day to video games and then complaining you're always tired? Well, let me give
You're
you an
staring at a
answer to
screen
that.
for 8 hours. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Go go sleep instead of playing those games. Like play 3 hours and then sleep the additional 5. You'll feel amazing.
Also,
Like,
yep. Speaking of sleep and genetics, it's interesting because I've like been super into just learning about it because I want to understand why my body is the way it is. Because since I was a kid, I have always just never slept
same.
and functioned off of a small amount of sleep. And there is a genetic thing that like one less than 1% of the people in the world have that can just live off of little to no sleep. And I definitely realized this recently because I was sick for the past week and I was sleeping for like 8 to 12 hours and I don't normally do that. And it made me feel worse. But when I'm like 3 to 5, I'm completely fine. I'm right on it. I'm really quick with it. My brain is just on sharp level. It just everything just works and falls into place. Whereas if I like sleep like what we're supposed to, like an 8 hour day, I am groggy. I feel like shit. My brain is like lagging behind.
So part of that is definitely the stages of sleep, when you wake up. If you're waking up in the middle of a deep sleep, you're always going to feel groggy. But if you get to
Right.
the end of those REM cycles and you get to, they technically say 90-minute rest cycles are perfect. So if you're 90 minutes, 3 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours, those are typically like the ranges of like, or, 7.5 hours. That's when you wake up, you're going to feel well rested, alert. You're going to be like, I'm ready to start things. So That's typical, but you could have an off circadian rhythm as well, which is a whole nother
That's true.
frog
Because
in
it's been
its
a whole
own.
thing. Well, it's been since I was a little kid. I've never been able to fall asleep easily.
Mhm.
But when I do fall asleep, I sleep deeply, but it's only for like 3-4 hours, and then my body's like, "We're good."
I just
And
don't.
it's just like, "Hey, I'm up now." I feel like I'm on fucking crack because I will wake up before my alarm goes off. I do it every day. I'll wake up like an hour before the alarm goes off, and I'll just sit there, and I usually just meditate, or I'll just chill, or I'll read something, whatever. But I don't like reach for the phone or nothing. I just chill until the alarm goes off, and then that's like my okay. Now it's time to do something.
Mhm.
But it's like I that first moment, like if I do that and I get up right away, it's legitimately like I did a line of coke. It feels like I'm on coke again, where I can talk 100 miles a minute, and I'm just like I'll get so much shit done in like an hour, just like, like just super 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 crazy, just like, and I don't know what that is, but like it's super. But it doesn't happen if I do like a full night of sleep, and that's even if I'm like dead sleep, get the REM sleep the whole nine, because I have sleep tracking things and stuff because I'm interested in it, and it just doesn't. I don't know, don't work for me.
I mean, hey, fair enough.
I did want to ask you, how's streaming been going? How have the streams that you've done been going? I've stopped in on a few of them just to say hey, but I haven't stuck for a full one yet.
It's just a couple people that come and hang out, man. It's literally the same as it was when I started streaming, and like that's cool for me. Like now, when I do like the
Does
music
it feel
reviews,
good to be back a little bit?
yes and no, honestly.
Like, did you miss just like the act of like hanging out with people more or
Yes,
less?
that I
Because that's
do.
what streaming is.
Yeah, but so there's a little bit of a trauma response anytime I try to stream now, and it's because of the person.
Hmm.
I she hated when I would stream, hated it, with a
Oh
burning
well, we know.
passion. And so anytime I go to sit down, there's still this mental barrier I have to get over. So there's a lot of anxiety that's built up over streaming. But when I'm actually doing it, I do enjoy it. It's just
Mhm.
like,
You
again,
enjoy and love it. It's just getting past that
yeah,
mental block that was placed there that when it shouldn't have been.
pretty much, yeah.
Which fair. I had a whole thing with Nessie's the only girlfriend I've ever had who supported me in doing music and gaming and stuff. Whereas everybody else has been like, no, you need to fucking get a real job and do your real thing and do this and you're fucking bum and blah blah blah. It's like just like I never had that, and then when I had that with her, I didn't know what to do with it. Like there was a whole year where I just didn't do anything, and she's like, why aren't you making stuff? I know you want to. And it's like I don't know. Like, I don't
You're
know how to
like,
answer that.
why am I not making stuff?
Yeah, literally, it was literally at that point where it's like, and then she was also the reason why I did the whole metamorphosis thing of really taking all this stuff seriously. It was like, you love doing this. Why aren't you doing it to the best of your ability? You're half-assing it, and you shouldn't be. And she was literally like, you need to stop. You either need to stop doing it or you need to do it the way you want to do it. And that was the final like click where I was like, you know what, you're right, done. And I've been doing it since, and it's been working fantastically.
Bro, you give her a big
Like,
hug for me because I fucking love that she made you do that. Like,
yeah, she every time I think about quitting, she's like, no, you're not. You've put X amount of time into this, you put all this effort into it, and you're good at it, and people love you. No. And it's just like, and I'm like, okay. And she tells the same thing with music. She's like, when you're ready, you're gonna do it. And so she knows that I want to do it, but she knows mentally I'm not ready yet.
yeah,
I'm getting there. I'm close. I'm getting there, but it just, and there's a lot of mental blocks with it that I haven't discussed yet. That are just like, there's reasons why I haven't done it,
and
because
that's the
it's the
key,
same thing.
bro.
Mental blocks, trauma, everything. That it was just everything in my life, and everyone has told me not to my whole life, and I can't get past that.
You have to work
And
through it
it's
in
just
your
like,
own time, bro.
yep. But speaking of the music, I really want to remix the fucking Doomsday 2 fucking beat. I really want to rap over that beat for fun. But yeah, that track is dope. I like that beat. I've always liked Role Models beat, but I like that remix of it, and I like that it's short. I would love to just get some anger off my chest on that just for fun.
Hell yeah.
So I was thinking since I'm off this week and I have nothing to do, I'm probably gonna work on that. I can't play anything. I can't do nothing. I've just been editing.
Hey man, that's more power to you. I wish I could be editing, but my fucking brain starts tweaking out while I'm doing it. I'm just like,
So I was at that point for a little bit. I had to take a break. I took like a 2-year break where I didn't touch anything. I was paying people to do it. I just couldn't do it. And then recently I have found love for experimentation through TikToks and shorts.
Mhm.
So that got me slowly back into it. Now I'm just like, I want to make more videos. I want to try more things and just see where I can go. Also, wanted Dungeons and Dragons. I need it in my life. I love D&D so much, dude. You can thank Nessy and Dustin for that one. This was one I had for you because I'm curious about this in general with people. Who's your like dream collab? Who's that one person you really want to work with one day? And it doesn't have to be one person, it could be like a couple. But like who are some people who you're like, that's a level I want to get to and want to have something with them at some point?
Post Malone.
100%.
Um, I really like Still Woozy. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I have not.
They're solid. I would do Michael Jackson if that was a possibility.
He's got a shit ton of unreleased recordings that you could.
We'll
It's a
see.
possibility. Yeah, that is a
But it's
possibility.
simultaneously, that's not the same. But Tame Impala, definitely Tame Impala.
Good choice.
I don't know. I'd really have to scroll through a few lists and see.
Right, exactly. I know for me with like music, Post is on mine for sure. Funny enough, Macklemore. I think he's so underrated, dude.
That's valid. Oh, Billie
That
Eilish.
is
There's another one. I'll
Billie Eilish would be sick.
We'd make a
Billie
bathroom.
Eilish would be dope. I really
I'm just
want
saying.
my in that same vein, Lady Gaga. I would love to work with
Yes,
Lady
dude.
Gaga.
She's amazing. Her voice is
She
insane.
is gorgeous too.
Yeah, bro.
She's a beautiful woman.
She's a
Oh
fucking
my god.
woman. Mm.
Yeah, I have like 2 Hollywood crushes. It's her and it's Halle Berry. Those are my 2.
Valid choices.
Yup. Yep. This was one that I like held on to for the end of this, which is funny. So, who is some? You don't have to say their name, or I can bleep it out if you want to. Who is somebody who has been a mentor in your life that helped you get to where you are and who you are now that you think about? Like when you think of people who have been mentors to you, are there people who come to mind who are like, I wouldn't be here without this person, or I wouldn't be me without this person? Because I have a few.
There's tons of people I wouldn't be without myself. Or without myself. I wouldn't be myself without having met those people. I'm still kind of fried.
Right.
Retake. Okay, here we go. There's tons. There's
Cut that. Cut
definitely
that. And we'll be right back.
there's definitely a couple people that I wouldn't be the person I am today without them. But like I unfortunately have never had really a mentor. Like I'd say the closest thing I've had, especially with music, to a mentor has been like my friendship with We Scheme and Alpha Tyler. Like they're the 2 people that I actively will send stuff to, like, hey, what do you think about that? And Gatsby, I'd say. Like I sent a lot to Gatsby to, but like I don't
Yes.
have anyone that
You're
I've
making my dick hard. So
no, like not intentionally. But it's like I don't and I don't I'm not
not
trying to
because
say
all those
this.
people are not because all of those people are hot, because it's dope that you're friends with them.
And you could be too, bro. I'm just saying they're great people.
I'm here for it. Give it to me. I will never be shy about promotion again. Yes.
But I don't say this in like an arrogant way, but I unfortunately like haven't really ever had like a real mentor. Like and I
Right.
wish that
Okay.
I have, but like everything that I've ever learned has kind of been like self-taught. I've always gone online and found my own information and But so as of recently, like yeah, I'd say like We Scheme, Tyler, and Jonah have been like all really great people in helping me actualize my musical potential instead of just feeling in the dark until I make something that is what I'm looking for.
Okay, and to go along with this question, part two of this question is, what is a piece of advice that you've been given that is always stuck in your head? And while you think about it, I will give you mine. And it was that to never let somebody tell you who you are and to always be yourself unapologetically
That
was something that I was told
I
that has
love
always stuck with me.
being yourself unapologetically. That's something I firmly believe in because like it's like that old saying, real recognize real. But you
Mm-hmm.
get to see sift through the bullshit. You get to see people worth spending your time with. But I'd actually recently just gotten this piece of advice like within, and I don't even think the person meant it as advice. They were just like saying it to try and cheer me up in something, but it was something that really stuck with me. And so it's something I try to tell everyone is you can't expect yourself out of other people. And I think too often we place our own expectations of what we would do on somebody else. And so when we get hurt by these people for whatever they may or may not do or whatever case scenario happens, uh, you get upset because you're holding your own standards to someone that might not be capable of those things or that just doesn't know any better. And once you stop expecting yourself out of everyone, you start being able to say, okay, this person messed up. It is what it is. Like, that's them. This is me. Like, you stop being as bothered by things. And man, I can't tell you how much that's changed my life.
I like that. I'm gonna hold that one. That's powerful.
It
That's
is,
some
bro.
powerful stuff.
It really is.
That's a perfect way. Okay, and then you saw the question I sent you in your DMs, right? That I was gonna ask you.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll just ask it to you then.
Okay.
So for this, I had a fun idea that I've never seen anybody else do. For this podcast to continue, I would like this to be a thing that all the guests do. So I want you to think of people you would like to see on this podcast. And I want you to give me a minimum of 3. One that you think would absolutely say yes, one that's like a maybe, and then just shoot for the stars who you think I would have a good interview / conversation with.
Okay. All right.
And this is also a call out to that person to come on the podcast for the one who you think would say yes.
All
It is
right.
an open invitation and also you calling them out to get on here and come talk to me. And you can name more than the 3, but the minimum I ask is 3
Let me
as I hold up
think.
4 fingers.
Who is a good who is a good person that I would say to go on this? I would love to see We Scheme come on this, honestly, just because of the fact that like I would love to watch you pick his brain and I would love to
Oh,
see
I would
his
love to.
reactions. So yeah,
Yo, I would love to.
my dog is fucking complaining at me, but
Give extra head pats to Jasper for me. No, that's my boy.
yeah, papa. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think that could be a possibility too. So who knows?
Down.
Someone
Whiskey,
that
you're always welcome. Come on, let's do it.
come on, schemo, make it happen. Um,
You heard the
let-
man.
let's see here. Someone that I think would be cool or like the next level. Hmm. I'd like to see Macklemore. I think that would be cool.
That'd be sick, dude. I'll tell you
And
something
then
about that afterward. I'll tell you something about something with that afterwards that came from that reaction, which
and
was
then
dope for me.
the final person I'd like to see would actually be a duo, if that would be okay.
Ooh, absolutely.
Okay. It'll be myself and Post Malone once we make an album together. We're talking about
Absolutely, dude.
one of these
Absolutely.
days.
Yeah, and of course the invitation's always there for you to come back. I could sit and talk with you in general.
Yeah.
Like this is why I also asked you on that. Is like, and we can talk about this on a later date. I feel like me and you would make a good duo podcast.
100%.
I think we could sit like every couple weeks and just sit and talk about life and what's going on in the world and music, and we would be a banger. So that may be something that happens in the future if people want to see it, and if you would be down to, I would absolutely
Let's
love
set
to.
it up, bro.
I'm down. I'm down.
We'll
Dual
work it in.
podcast. We'll work on it. Yeah, we'll work on that afterwards. But I will do an outro and everything, so we're good. You can just stop recording now.
Yeah.
But actually, before you stop recording, I will just say this. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for letting me pick your brain and go through some emotions and some fun. Thanks for being my friend. And you are another person who also pushes me to do better. And I appreciate that more than you will ever know. And I am so thankful for you always. And I will always be your biggest fan. And there is no one that's just 100%. I'm always 100% biased. Everything you do is great. You could kill somebody and I'd be like, nah, did he really do it though?
He probably had a good reason. Well, much love, brother. Up. You know, I appreciate you right back. That's why you're one of the only two people, aside from Scheme reviewing the album, to hear the fucking album early, to get the feedback, you know, to be able to have that.
You know, you have no idea how big of a fucking flatter that is to me.
Hell yeah, man. But thank you for having me, bro. It means a lot. Like, bro, even if this gets to one other person that wouldn't have heard my shit otherwise, like, it means the fucking world to me to even have the opportunity to do that. So, like, thank you for giving me the platform for that.
No, I appreciate it. It also means the world to me that this is going to be, well, of course, let's be honest, we're going to end up doing a podcast together. I'm going to make it happen.
Let's make it happen, bro.
It means the world to me because this is going to be my Burtcast, my solo cast for just hang out with people. It means the world to me that the first person I bring onto it is quite literally my brother. So
hell yeah, man.
It really means a lot to start this journey off with somebody who means more to me than I can ever describe in words.
Bro, it means the world to be there at the fucking start of it, man. It means the world to be on the ground floor of that. Like, because I know you're going to do something fucking great, man. I know, like, this is a snowball effect, man. I've seen the way it works. It's only a matter of time. And then when they go back and look at the first episode,
it was you when I have post on and we're like thinking about it. I was like, you know what's funny? You were mentioned in the first episode.
No way, that's crazy. Let me go back and look at that.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our inaugural episode of Desk Talk. I want to thank everybody who has been here for a very long time, waiting on me to drop this. Thank you so much. This was originally meant to go out like a week ago, but, you know, things happen and that's okay. But I do want to thank Nick for being my first official guest on Desk Talk. And I didn't really explain it in the beginning, but what Desk Talk is meant to be for everybody who just wants to know is Desk Talk is a place for me to sit at my desk, of course, but sit and talk with friends, with colleagues, with people who interest me, and talk about what they're up to, what their life is like, and just get to know people and have a conversation, whether it revolves around music, gaming, comedy, whatever it may be. It's just a place to learn and hear people's stories. And I think there was no better person to have on the first inaugural episode than my good friend Nampson, aka Nick, because it really felt, like I said, a lot of these things that are happening, me being in streaming, me getting the podcast, all of these things stemmed from my friendship with Nick. So it makes sense to have him be the first fucking person that we get on the podcast. And to everybody who we mentioned in this podcast, who we talked about, and of course the person who we gave the shout out to and asked to come on, that includes WeScheme or Gatsby or Postcard or anybody else who sees this, who we mentioned in this, who wants to come on, hit me up. I would love to have you all on and have a conversation and talk to you and pick your brain and talk about what you're working on and what your life is like and all of it. And there's going to be plenty more episodes. I don't know how often these are going to be yet. Maybe once a month, maybe every couple of weeks. I'm not really sure yet. For now, this is the first episode. It's really experimental, and we're kind of just figuring out how we're going to do things. And then once we get a momentum going and we start getting more frequent guests and all of these things, we can discuss those things in the future. But again, I just want to thank you, Nick, my literal brother, for being here in the inaugural episode. It felt amazing to finally do this. It felt amazing to finally edit this.
I am so proud to have finally done this. This has been a long-term goal, as many of you know, that I've been talking about wanting to do this podcast. We did technically in episode 0 a long time ago on my other channel, and that was years ago, and we're back and we're finally in it. I know I wasn't in the right mental space a long time ago to do this fully, to do any of the things we're doing on the channel, on any of the channels, fully to my biggest, to my best, but I know I am still not 100% there, but I'm mostly there now, and I'm able to do these things, and I'm able to finally put time and effort into the things that I care about, and this is one of those things. I really want this to be something big, and I feel like it is a door opening to something much bigger that I cannot wait to see where it goes. So if you're here during episode 1, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the very next video. Ta-ta for now.